Over the course of the last 12 years, I have helped literally hundreds of different businesses develop offers that work with paid traffic, with organic, and I've developed this into a very specific formula. In fact, I've gotten to the point now, after teaching about 500 plus successful digital marketing agencies how to do this for themselves, in the ability to be able to sit down, create a process, lay stuff out, and be able to make these offers in under 10 minutes. And literally, a lot of these offers, I would say the majority of them, go on to become super successful. But at the very least, even if they're not making you millions of dollars, they're giving you things to test. Because the most important thing in any campaign is right audience, right offer fit. And you need to know how to create offers that should work in paid traffic and ads quickly so that you can test a bunch of those. So what I did last week was I sat down with a lot of our students and I went through exactly how they can create these $1 million scary offers in literally 10 minutes so that they can pump these out for their clients, test stuff, and make sure they get the right audience, right market fit to get out there and start making money. So without further ado, let's dive in so that you can see exactly the formula and how to put these to work for yourself. Let's get shit done. So what we're talking about here today, again, is how to create these, what we call scary offers. But in reality, it's $1 million offers that can make you, $1 million or your clients $1 million. It's stuff that makes people want to pay you money. And so instead of making assumptions, what we want to do first is do our research. Okay. So before we do anything else, before I do anything, I always have two types of ways that I approach things. One, I want to be able to test things in a fast, imperfect, and frictionless way. And two, I need to be able to lay out all the information so that I can do this all and on and on again. So what do those two things mean? One, we need a way to move forward quickly. So with us, I'm going to build this out on this worksheet. So if we say phase one is going to be research, phase two is going to be testing, phase three is going to be scaling. Okay, this is how I want you guys to lay this all out. There's always the scary offer formula, okay, which is what we start with everywhere we go. You guys have probably heard this a bunch, but I'm going to write it out again. Anyway, the scary offer formula is big end result plus customer language plus specificity plus risk reversal plus reverse pain statement. We want to have as many of these elements as we possibly can in every offer we do. Okay. But before we do that, we need to do research. We need to understand what are customer language. What are they using to describe the things they actually want? What is a big end result that they actually even care about? What is some reverse pain statements, reverse pain that they actually have? And so in this situation, we go out and we say, okay, let's pick a niche because we need a niche. Can't have customer language if we don't know who we're talking to, for, about. And because of that, what normally happens is all of these people who don't want to have niches, right? You end up having to talk in generic bullshit language. You end up having to speak like a marketer. You say your own words, right? So you're saying things like, I generate leads, or I get booked sales calls, or I'll help you get clients, and I'll do SEO, and I do PPC, even devolving into these letters that people will not understand what the hell they mean. And so you think you're sounding like an expert, but really you're just talking gibberish, and you're not able to trigger the emotion that causes people to actually want to buy shit. But if we can switch that to being language that your customer actually wants, we get going on that. So first we have to pick a niche. So let's pick for our examples here. Let's just say real estate and let's say contractors, just two very common niches. So now how can I learn what they want, right? How can I learn what they want, how they talk, etc. And so we do it in a couple of ways in the GST program. We're talking about onboarding surveys. We're using offboarding surveys. We're using failed sales call recordings. You can get better information out of 10 calls that you had who said no than you can from a bunch of people who said yes. Because they're going to tell you why they aren't going to buy, especially if you're asking the right questions. They're going to tell you what they actually wanted. They're going to tell you what they needed to hear, where they got confused. All of these things that you can now go and leverage in your marketing, in your content, in your ads, right? So that you get that information. But what if you don't have any of those yet? What if you don't have a client yet to do onboarding, offboarding surveys for? What if you don't have a bunch of sales call recordings yet that you can actually leverage? What do you do in that situation? In that situation, what we end up doing is we want to do customer, would just say research surveys, general research surveys. Okay. And how you can get them to do this is by taking someone to lunch, whether that be a family member, friend, colleague, or even cold call, right? You don't necessarily need to sell people stuff in the beginning. Sometimes you just need to pick their brain. Sometimes it's at a conference, right? Sometimes you just go and actually communicate with people and ask them specific questions, right? You can also give them, those $50 Google ad credit things that people come. You can give away gift cards to people. You can give away actual money, pay people for their time so that you can sit down and understand from them. And what are you really looking for from that research, right? You're looking for what specifically they want in the words they would use to describe it, right? Because at the end of the day, what makes the best offer, all these fancy things and all these things that we're laying out here, at the end of the day, what we really, really need to know is what is the thing they want the most and what is the thing they want to avoid doing the most. Because if I can create an offer that says, I'm going to help you go get more of the thing you want the most while avoiding doing the thing you want to do the least, then that's going to be an offer that's going to move the needle. The rest is all about social proof, frictionless, specificity, risk reversal, all the things that make that stronger. But at the very, very point of it, it's understanding how to explain that, what your words to actually use to make that happen. So now what we want from this at its core is learning customer language. So we'll say for real estate, we do this properly. We'll go out and we'll say, okay, I need two main things here from the research I'm doing. I want to know customer language, and I'm just going to go off my own experience here, right? So we're saying, okay, well, they don't want leads. I know that much. What they really want is qualified buyers ready to look at homes. They want listings. They want listing presentations. They want to actually have better GCI, etc. Then pain points they want to avoid is going to be calling endless shitty leads, right? They don't have no time to call leads, no sales team, no assistant. Help them work leads, don't want to spend a lot on ads. And if we're being honest with ourselves, think they're better salespeople than they actually are 9 times out of 10. Then we get to contractors. Same thing. You want to use these surveys to get this information. Like, okay, well, what's some customer language specific to them? Okay. Well, they want not leads, not listings, not buyers, not any of this stuff. They want estimates. They want quotes. They want jobs, projects, contract. They want all of that stuff there. And you can get more specific, okay? Maybe they want kitchen remodeling jobs, kitchen or bathroom remodeling contract jobs, right? Or if they're roofers, maybe they want commercial or residential roofing projects, right? There's the broad customer language, and then there's more and more specific customer language as you dig into your clients. That's going to help you, because the more specific you can get to the actual exact thing they're thinking they need more of this month, the more that's going to move the needle for them and get them to want to work with you. And so, okay, now next, pain points for contractors on the job a lot and therefore miss a lot of calls and business, hate salespeople for some reason, never seem to want to hire any at all, don't want to learn new tech, feel like they're wasting money on various overhead positions, etc. And so what we want to do is take these things and build offers for them. Okay. But you can't build an offer without first laying these foundational pieces. Because now I can take it on this real estate thing and be like, cool. Well, if I go down here and say what I can offer to real estate, for instance, I can say version 1 would be, let's say, an AI sales team. Right? So I can leverage the voice AI stuff and the leads. So you could say, I help realtors, or I get realtors 10 plus buyers, qualified buyers ready to look at homes on their calendars, and hundreds of buyer seller opportunities every 30 days without ever wasting a single moment speaking with an unqualified lead. Now we're addressing pain points. You don't want to talk to unqualified leads? I'm not going to make you do that. You need more qualified buyers who are ready to look at homes? I'm going to get those for you. I'm going to do that because A, I understand KPIs, which is going to be $5 cost per lead for realtor, 5 to 10% booking rate using AI, and therefore you're looking at like $100 to $500. We'll call it $500 CPA, right? So that you can start getting these. But the actual buyers ready to look at homes would be somewhere around 1 to 200 actual cost per qualified call, where you're getting to that point by using the AI system. KPIs also understanding that the hundreds of these just means you got to have at least 500 to be able to get the 100 of opportunities, and then have the AI system to leverage into the rest, right? So that you can actually do this part. You could also start to say things like, okay, well, it might even just say, instead of down to the contractor. So now for a contractor one, we say, reduce overhead maybe plus AI. We're talking about, you're wasting a bunch of money on overhead. You on the job miss a lot of calls in business. You don't have salespeople, but you still need more estimates, quotes, jobs. And so you could say, we help contractors reduce their sales overhead by 100K plus and double their inbound kitchen remodeling estimates. They're double their monthly inbound kitchen remodeling estimates in under 90 days. And the other thing on this, guys, right? Part of this is very important, is adding the specificity in. Specificity is a huge thing for brains, right? Like if I tell you I'm going to get you some jobs, or if I tell you I'm going to give you 10 jobs, your brain is going to want the 10 jobs. Even if the some jobs could be more. Some jobs could actually mean 20 jobs. But because I'm giving you the specificity to it, it matters. It's also been proven through so many studies that the human brain will go towards certainty more than it will, and it will avoid anything else. Meaning there's been a lot of studies where they'll go to people and they'll say, I will give you $10,000 right now to walk away. But there's a 90% chance that I'll give you $12,000 if you stay here for 30 more minutes. And the study showed that most people, I can't remember the exact numbers, but let's just call it 80%. It was a significant portion of the people took the $10,000. Even though there was a very, very, in fact, 90% chance you were going to get an additional 20, 30% of money by sticking around, that little bit of risk away from the certainty made the human mind move away from that. And so the more we can add in the risk reversal, the more we can add in the specificity, the better, the stronger, the more emotional these things actually are, right? And so here we're layering in again. What are we layering in? Specificity on overhead. We're layering in specificity on doubling the inbound jobs, inbound kitchen remodeling estimates being customer language we picked up specifically for this contractor, all through that next part. Do you see how these offers, guys, are stronger, significantly so, than having something that says, I generate leads using Facebook ads for contractors, or I leverage SEO to help you increase your sphere of influence as a real estate agent? The typical bland stuff you'll see on people's pages. Does that make sense to you guys? Perfect. Now, one of the things before I move into the next phase here, right, is something I always want to make perfectly clear. Okay. The perfectly clearness is not every homeless person that wanders off the street gets to qualify for these offers. So a lot of people are like, well, what if the guy has no money? What if the guy has no list? These offers, people have to qualify for you to actually get them, right? Like if I'm going to get 10 qualified buyers ready to look at homes, they have to spend X amount of dollars on these ads in order to do it and be leveraging the AI to make it happen. If they can't afford that, well, that's why we have, right, the flywheel approach. That's why we have the flywheel offer. Right. The way that I tell you guys always to structure your actual core service offerings is to have it be built like this, not a funnel where everybody who doesn't quite come here has to, for lack of a better term, fuck off, right? But a place for everybody to fit. And so for agencies, a lot of the time with you guys and GST people, what we're saying is, where they need to evaluate you, your email list, your Facebook profile, a group, a YouTube channel. Beginners is going to be SaaS only. And this is where if they can't afford this, they don't want to spend a bunch of money on ads to hit this. They don't want to do all this stuff. They don't have all the overhead yet to replace. They don't want to do all the rest of it, right? Because this one is 100K is equal to 100K here, right? Is equal to 60K sales plus commission salesperson plus a 50 to 60K assistant, right, in the States. So that's at least 100K in overhead. And then doubling is, again, ads, monthly DBRs, missed call text AI. I don't know why. We got to find a new word for it because it's not a missed call text back, is it? If the AI actually picks up the phone and just answers the damn phone. So I guess it's missed call AI answering service. I don't know, but it works, right? And so they have to qualify for these. A lot of people get tripped up on the, well, how am I going to get 10 qualified opportunities if they don't have any money for ads? You can't, and therefore you don't. But what ends up happening is you get all of these conversations because of how nice these offers are. And if they aren't ready for it, you want this to be the next step in their journey. You say, okay, well, that's what you're going to get here, but we need to get you here first. So instead of that, let's roll you back to this SaaS thing here. And between my AI and my DBR that's going to help you on here, or the missed callback, you're going to make enough money that we can then roll up into here, and it is bought into a journey with you. It allows the flywheel to constantly be pushing it forward into itself. So now we have scary offers. What do? This is where it comes into place for testing, right? So 2 ways we do this. Organic is what we call the optimal selling strategy phases. And then for paid, it's the rapid fire testing. Okay. Optimal selling strategy phases for this one. And I got that term from, what is that book called? Ready, Fire, Aim. I don't remember if this is exactly how he explained it, but I loved that term, optimal selling strategy. I really enjoyed that concept. And so we turned it into a 3-phase thing. Phase 1, find your optimal selling strategy. Phase 2, focus on your optimal selling strategy. Phase 3, scale your optimal selling strategy, which leads down into ads. So this is taking your scary offer and going and testing, finding best offer, message, platform fit. What that means is you go out and you do stuff like Facebook outreach, Instagram outreach. You do all of this stuff, cold email, and use the trainings and the scripts and all that stuff that we go over with you guys and having the thing, but using this offer and go out and do it. You then focus on it because you found which one of these platforms works best, and then you move into scaling, which is the ads, right? And the ads is all about isolating and then finding winning assets, audience, offer / hooks, followed by creatives. And the reason these things work best, right, is because you're doing phase 1, lead forms, phase 2, use winning assets to do either VSLs, SLOs, whatever it ends up being at that point. And then scaling, vertically or horizontally. I'm not going to dive into too much there, but you get the idea. Frictionlessly using either organically by going out there and just doing outreach. Again, you're not building landing pages. You're not building websites. You can go out and have a couple hundred conversations leveraging just this and a little bit of scripting to just go from content to messenger to call and see if they even give a shit about this before you go build a whole website over it or a whole VSL over it or a whole bunch of stuff you have to invest time, money, resources in. You frictionlessly test these and you go from there. The other part of this is when you're running ads for your clients, right? Because this is about building $1 million offers for you, but also for your clients. When you're building $1 million offers for your clients, it's the same thing. If I can make these are perfect for ads. They're perfect for the outreach and the cold email and stuff. But the thing is, I can make a control ad for rapid fire testing that basically just states this. And you can eventually, once it works, the whole point of this process here is that we go and we just do direct ads. And then once we have the offer and hooks part of it, we get into creatives. This is your graphics, but it's also your pain-based copy. And this is what people usually skip to. And that's what takes them so fucking long is to, okay, I'm going to write this big story thing for my post. I'm going to write this giant pain-based copy thing for my ad. But what does most of the work for everything, organic and paid, is the scary offer part, is the offer. If you have a really good offer, your copy, landing page, and everything else can be shit and you'll still get decent results. That's the point to get across. But if you have a bad offer and everything else is fantastic, it's all going to fall apart. Everything else that you're doing that a lot of people waste a lot of their time on is actually meant to optimize your results that you're getting from a winning offer. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that one more time. 90% of the strength of your organic and paid campaigns comes from having a winning offer, an offer that people actually want. And the rest of all of this stuff that people normally waste time on, websites, VSLs, funnels, all of this extra shit that makes them feel better about themselves, having an asset, having a thing there in front of them, is only meant to incrementally improve the actual thing that you already know is working. Thank you so much for spending the time to watch that amazing training. Like I mentioned previously, my intention is for you not just to watch that training, but if you got something out of it, if you think this information is useful, I want you to continue that journey with us. And you can do that in a couple of ways. One, I want you to smash that subscribe button so that you get notified every single time we put another one of these out, which will be at minimum once to twice per week. The other thing I want you to do is go ahead and click that next video right there beside you so that you can dive in and get shit done. Hope to see you out there.